What's up, guys? My name's Ben, the Playlist Fiend, and today we're talking about one-hit wonders. Specifically, one-hit wonders from the 1990s, which I found out in the research for making this video. The 1990s were lousy with them. So many one-hit wonders in the 90s, you guys. As I usually do, I made a playlist. It's linked below. I encourage you to follow along, listen to some favorites. It's not an exhaustive list. I want to be clear about that before you go raging in the comments. I missed your favorite one-hit wonder. It's only like a top 50, basically. But some songs also that you think are one-hit wonders, they didn't qualify. And we'll get to that. I have rules about one-hit wonders, as I think everyone should. You can't just say something's a one-hit wonder when the band had 2 hits, 3 hits, and you only remember one hit. It has to be fair, because here's the thing. One-hit wonder is not a bad term. It's a good term. It is. I think one-hit wonders should be proud to be one-hit wonders. And we'll get to that. I'll talk more about that. I'm also going to lay down my top 10 favorite one-hit wonders from the 90s. We're going to count them down. That's later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Okay, all right, let's get into it. So what is a one-hit wonder? This term has to have a definition. We throw it around a lot, but simply put, I think in the easiest terms, a one-hit wonder is a band or artist that had a huge, memorable hit, and then they just kind of faded into relative obscurity, or they were never able to top that one hit. So I think the music press over time has determined that this is a bad thing. A one-hit wonder is a disparaging term. Totally disagree with that. I think it's a cool term because honestly, like, you made one song that is forever remembered, especially with the people that grew up with it. And maybe it's put in movies and commercials for all time. You get royalties and checks for that. You don't have to be like famous and people bothering you all the time. You know, fame isn't that great. Getting rich off something you made a long time ago over and over and over is like passive income. Like most bands or artists would kill for one big hit where they get checks from it in perpetuity. So I say, long live the one-hit wonders. But like, listen, you can't just say something is a one-hit wonder if it just feels like they are. So when I was doing research for this video, I ran into a lot of songs that I thought were one-hit wonders, and then when I did the research, those bands had other hits. Fastball, great example. Their song The Way was a huge hit, and nobody remembers anything else from them, but they actually had another hit like a year later, Out of My Head. Another great example, even more popular, Hanson. Mbop, right? #1 hit song. But they had like 2 or 3 other hits off that album. People don't remember those hits. All they remember is Mbop. But there has to be rules here. I'm going to be picky about this. So how do we determine, right? The charts. Duh. By the way, I'm American, so I'm going to use the American Billboard charts as the barometer here. But we have to make sure that we meet in the middle, right? Where the public sees it as a one-hit wonder, but also the charts actually measured it when it was popular, so we can meet in the middle and get it right. Thankfully, someone's already done that. Meet Chris Molanphy. This guy is awesome. I love this dude. There are exceptions to his rules, but for the most part, he gets it right. Chris is a writer for Slate. He has an article there called Why Is This Song #1 that he writes occasionally. He's also a chart analyst, a pop critic, just an all-around great writer, and he's the host of one of my favorite podcasts, The Hit Parade, which you definitely should check out. He's a chart nerd. I'm a chart nerd. Let's go over his rules, which will apply to today's video. One-hit wonder rule #1. A second hit that makes the top 10 of Billboard's Hot 100 after their first hit instantly removes an artist from one-hit wonder status. So let's take Vanilla Ice. Ice Ice Baby, right? The huge hit. But people don't remember this. He actually had another top 10 hit called Play That Funky Music. It reached #4. That Rob Van Winkle, he was pretty hot there for a while. Rule #2. An act that scores a second hit that makes the top 40 shall not be considered a one-hit wonder unless that second hit is scored within 6 months of the first hit, and it's never followed by another top 40 hit. You might think Jump by Criss Cross, the hip-hop duo, those 2 kids in the early 90s. Anyway, they've actually had a few hits on the Hot 100, like in the top 20. And the final rule from Chris Molanphy is that any act that scores at least 3 top 10 or platinum albums is removed from the one-hit wonder consideration entirely. So I couldn't really think of like a 90s example of this, but a great example is Jimi Hendrix. All Along the Watchtower did okay, but other than that, he didn't really do much on the Hot 100. But like all his albums went like platinum, like so many times. Also, it's Jimi Hendrix. You can't call Jimi Hendrix a one-hit wonder. It's not going to happen. So those are the 3 rules. If you want to read Chris Molanphy's full article, I'll link it below in the description. You can check it out. Very informative piece. Another thing I'll say real quick about the 90s is that the charting for the Hot 100 had some weird rules up until about late 1998. It was only considered a singles chart, and then they switched it to a songs chart because record labels stopped releasing singles because they figured out they could make more money if they just released the albums and only gave the singles to radio stations. So because of that, a lot of like songs we heard on the radio a lot in the 90s didn't actually ever chart, or they charted way low, and that wasn't really fair. So people complained and they changed it. So for those songs, we don't directly look at the Hot 100, we look at like the radio charts. Just when you're going through the playlist, keep that in mind as well. Okay, now comes the fun part. Here are my top 10 favorite one-hit wonders of the 90s. Most of these, by the way, are in the late 90s because that's when I was growing up. I was like 10, 11 years old when a lot of these were on the radio. I hear them all the time. So kind of partial to those years. So now you know a little something about me. First up, number 10, the Ghost Town DJs, My Boo. This is a Miami bass inspired jam, a no-brainer one-hit wonder. It was the only single this group ever released, like ever. It peaked at number 31 on the Hot 100 initially in the summer of 1996. But if you were on Vine in 2016, you know all about the Running Man Challenge, right? It went back on the charts because of that and peaked higher at number 27. I remember the first time I heard this song. I was sitting in a car outside of my grandma's house. I was like 10 years old. It came on the radio, and it starts off kind of, it's got that spooky synth line at the beginning. And then the DJ said it was called My Boo by the Ghost Town DJs. And I thought, man, is this a Halloween song? Like, what? This sounds spooky. And then that beat kicks in, and you're like, and I think of you. And it just makes you want to, get it going, right? Number 9 belongs to the Butthole Surfers, Pepper. These guys, I know what you're thinking. Like, if you're from Texas, I'm from Texas. And if you're from Texas, you know these guys as being like psychedelic legends, right? They're a big deal. But they're technically one-hit wonders. And Pepper was the track. Pepper was huge. It was number 1 on the alternative chart, and it hit the Hot 100 airplay chart in 96. Now, you know the song, like, during the verses, it's all about, like, random people that either died horrible deaths or they escaped death, and they all seem to be like connected to each other in some way, but it's not really specific. The band never came close to hitting the Hot 100 like at all ever again, but I love them. Like, they're awesome. You know what else I love? I love number 8, Donna Lewis, I Love You Always Forever. This song was number 2 on the Hot 100 for 9 weeks. 9 weeks, guys. Never hit number 1. Why? What song beat it out over and over, week after week after week? The ultimate 90s one-hit wonder. I'm talking about a little song called The Macarena, Los Del Rio. Donna Lewis is British, I believe, and she managed a follow-up single, Without Love. It hit number 41 on the Hot 100, but after that, it was kind of over. This song, man, every time it comes on, it's just like this mid-tempo kind of jam. It makes me feel some type of way, nostalgic in a good way. Okay, number 7 is Love Fool by the Cardigans. I feel like not many one-hit wonders have name recognition beyond their song. Like, you can always remember the song, but you can't remember the band. But I feel like when I say the Cardigans, everyone knows that I'm talking about Love Fool. That was the Cardigans. I remember it from the Romeo and Juliet movie. It was in The Office. Most recently, Orphan Black. This is one of those songs that just like has never gone away. It's never died. The Cardigans are actually really popular where they're from. They're native Sweden. They've sold like 15 million albums worldwide. This song hit number 1 here in America on the mainstream top 40 chart. It wasn't just like a hit that all the teeny boppers loved. The critics loved it too. It was fondly remembered, critically acclaimed. It doesn't have that camp or novelty generally associated with like one-hit wonders. Even today, like when people do retrospectives about the 90s, this is always considered like one of the best songs of the decade. Slant Magazine, Pitchfork, it made the Village Voice pass and Jop poll 2 years in a row. It's just a damn good song. But you know, one genre that really came up during the 90s, and everybody knows this, it was in its golden age, was hip-hop. So we got to have some one-hit wonders in hip-hop in the 90s, right? Yes, we do. Number 6 is one of those hip-hop one-hit wonders. I Got 5 on It by Lunas. This song's timeless. Like, it's untouchable. The hook's undeniable. It's all about splitting the cost of a certain herbal remedy. It peaked at number 8 on the Hot 100, and Lunas never charted there ever again. It's got vocals from R&B singer Michael Marshall. Most recently, it was featured in the new movie Us from Jordan Peele. It gave it a more creepy and sinister tone. That melody is just like, I hear it now, and it's like scary now because of that movie. But yeah, also it's like, it's one you gotta turn the radio up when it comes on. It's like, it's a banger, no doubt. Okay, top 5. Number 5 is Closing Time by Semisonic. The ultimate song for last call at your favorite neighborhood bar. It peaked at number 8 on the mainstream top 40, number 11 on the radio chart, and it was the number 1 alternative song in the country for a while. Yeah, it's about a bar closing down, but also the leader of the band, Dan Wilson, says that it was also about him becoming a father. His girlfriend was pregnant at the time that he wrote it. So think about that next time you listen to it. I never noticed that. The band had modest success on the alternative chart after that. They never reached the pop charts again. But Wilson actually, other than Semisonic, he's had pretty good success as a songwriter for other people. Maybe you've heard of the Dixie Chicks. He wrote Not Ready to Make Nice. He also wrote Someone Like You by Adele, which was a major hit. So yeah, he's doing all right. The guy has a knack for writing hit songs. But you know what group does not? Like, they were truly one and done. Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping, is number 4. This song reached number 6 on the Hot 100 in 1997. Everybody knows the song, and they know what it's about, basically. It's like a party song, you know, you drinking, having a fun time. But it's like the chorus is also like this uplifting, like, I get knocked down, but I get up again. It's motivational. Chumbawamba were not destined to be like legendary hit makers. They were like a political band, and their music's like all over the place. It sounds different like every album, and they released like 16 albums, like something crazy like that. Not much commercial success overall, but we'll always have Tub Thumping. So number 3 belongs to another Texas band. They're one of my favorites growing up. They're not a one-hit wonder in my heart, but technically they make the cut because the Toadies are only known for their song Possum Kingdom, more or less. The song's very creepy. It's based on a loose narrative of a fictional cult member. It's like a loose concept throughout the album that it's on. And the cult member's wandering Possum Kingdom Lake, which is a real place near Fort Worth, Texas, where the band is from. The album it's from, Rubberneck, it's their 1994 debut album, a classic Texas rock album. It's like southern grunge, punk, my generation's ZZ Top. Yeah, I said it. That might be a hot take, but I'm going with it. These guys reached number 40 on the Hot 100 airplay chart. Then they had some like record label issues and didn't make an album for years and years. But they're back in touring now, and I live in Central Texas, and they tour around here all the time. And I can't wait to see them again. Oh man, we're running through these. Number 2 is Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. This song confused me when I was a kid. Where's he returning from? This is his first song, to me anyway, like, and the rest of America. Anyway, it peaked at number 2 in June of 1997. Just so close to that number 1 spot. The thing that makes this song like timeless, it's like one of those songs that's like forever gonna be just a straight up bop. Like, you could play it in the club and people will go crazy because of that beat. And the beat is actually sampled from the Tom Tom Club, which was another one-hit wonder band from the 80s. It's like a side project of the Talking Heads. Return of the Mac's like late era New Jack Swing. I've always said if I were ever a baseball player, it would be my walk-up song. It just like, whenever it comes on, I'm just like, yes, let's go. Let's do this. Woo! Just makes me confident. Is all I'm trying to say. And yeah, like I said, the song's timeless. I think the most recent usage was Andrew Yang was using it for his presidential campaign. Gets the people going. All right, let's not waste any more time. The number one-hit wonder of the 90s, IMHO, is Steal My Sunshine by Len. This song, like, means things to me. I know what you're thinking. Ben, that's weird. This is like just some cheesy one-hit wonder from the 90s. No, my friends, it is the cheesy one-hit wonder from the 90s. This song reached number 9 on the Hot 100. It samples the 1976 disco hit, More by Andrea True Connection, which might also be a one-hit wonder. I'm not sure on that one. The song is basically like, the lyrics don't really make any sense, but really it's about like this guy who's rolling at a rave. That's basically all it's about. It's loosely based on Don't You Want Me from the Human League, where you have like alternating male and female vocals, which were sung by the leader of the band, Mark Costanzo, and his sister, Sharon. This song just makes me think of like the summer of 1999, the best summer ever, best summer of my life, staying at home, watching TRL. Yeah, TRL. Total Request Live. Ask your parents. The record label gave them $100,000 to shoot the music video. They took like 20 of their friends to Florida during spring break. They blew the entire budget, more or less, on alcohol. They rented jet skis and motorbikes. But yeah, back to the alcohol. They bought so much alcohol that they broke the elevator in their hotel, trying to load it all into the elevator. I mean, doesn't that just sound like this song would soundtrack that? Like, that's perfect. This song's like a jam for me. If it ever comes on and you're around me, just like, I apologize in advance because I'm gonna go off. I might shed a tear. I might hug you. Yeah, it's gonna get wild. You won't be able to steal my sunshine. All right, we made it. That's my top 10 favorite one-hit wonders of the 90s. Again, the full playlist that I made is below. What did I miss? What are your favorite 90s one-hit wonders? Which ones absolutely suck and you hate them? Let me know what you think in the comments. And again, please, if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Please share the video with your friends. You can follow me on social as well. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Stay safe and party on.